So, you've been there, right? That feeling. You're standing at the bottom of something huge, maybe literally a skyscraper, maybe a big life goal, getting fit, learning something new, changing careers, and you just wish, and instinctively, for that elevator, that, that easy button to get you straight to the top. We all kind of want to skip the hard stuff, don't we? But what if that's the exact thing holding us back? What if the real path, the one that actually lasts, is the one we try so hard to avoid? Today on the Deep Dive, we're going to challenge that instinct. We're diving into a really inspiring piece. It's called Talk About It Tuesday with Coach Tiff, and she uses this fantastic metaphor, take the stairs.
Oh.
So our mission today is pretty clear. We're unpacking Coach Tiff's 5 key principles for getting real success, the meaningful kind, through consistent, deliberate effort. We want to pull out the best bits of wisdom here, help you really get what taking the stairs could mean in your own life. And what I love about this, honestly, is how it just flips the script on how we usually think about progress. It's not about those quick fixes. It's about deep, sustainable growth. It really pushes back against that whole instant gratification culture we see everywhere. It feels solid, enduring.
Absolutely. And Coach Tiff's approach, it gives us this really robust foundational framework for personal growth, building resilience, finding success that actually sticks. In pretty much any area you apply it, it goes beyond just rah-rah motivation. It gives practical strategies for dealing with the real challenges of long-term achievement. It's a whole system, really.
Okay, let's dig into that core idea then, because it sets everything up. Coach Tiff puts it so cleanly. She says, success ain't no elevator ride. There's no quick button, no shortcut, no easy path. If you want to get to the top, you got to take the stairs. And she really hammers home the commitment needed, right? Step by step, breath by breath, discipline over excuses. It's not just about getting there. It's about the intentional effort, the whole journey.
Exactly. And what's so insightful about that metaphor, well, it immediately makes you confront our bias for efficiency, for instant gratification. Our brains are sort of wired to save energy, find the easiest route. It's natural. So when she says take the stairs, she's basically asking us to consciously fight that instinct. It's a real push towards thinking long-term, seeing the value in that consistent step-by-step progress. It's not about one giant leap. It's the small steps adding up over time that build something real. It's like re-educating ourselves on what progress actually looks like.
That reframing is so important. Okay, so building on that, Coach Tiff lays out 5 key principles for actually climbing those stairs. And the first one, wow, it kind of hits you right between the eyes. You got to take control of your life. You're the captain, the master, the general. This is pure empowerment, isn't it? She says, don't hand your power over to people who don't even walk in your shoes. Your breakthrough doesn't need their approval. That's a really strong statement about owning your path.
It really is. And this isn't just, be a leader. It taps right into personal agency. Psychologists call it having an internal locus of control, believing that your actions, your choices, are what primarily shape your outcomes, not luck, not other people. When you operate from that place, you're not just reacting. You're actively writing your own story. The opposite, that external locus of control, believing outside forces rule your fate, that often leads to feeling hopeless, right? Inaction. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? For you listening, where might you, maybe unknowingly, be giving away your power? Or looking for that external thumbs up for your own dreams instead of trusting yourself?
Oof. Yeah. That's a tough question we all need to sit with. Requires some real honesty. It's so easy to blame stuff outside ourselves. And building right on that, Coach Tiff's second principle is just as vital. Change your mindset. She doesn't pull any punches here either. What's holding most people back isn't their circumstances, it's their thinking. Mm-hmm. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you'll keep getting what you've been getting, period. Then she asks us directly, so ask yourself, what thought patterns do I need to shift today?
Exactly. And this isn't just like wishful thinking or positive affirmations. It connects to neuroplasticity. Our brains literally change. They rewire themselves based on our repeated thoughts and experiences. So when Coach Tiff says change your mindset, she's actually talking about leveraging the brain's ability to physically reshape itself. Those negative loops, those self-limiting beliefs, if you keep reinforcing them, they literally carve deeper paths in your brain, makes them harder to break over time. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like a biological need to interrupt that cycle, to consciously build new, more empowering connections.
Wow, okay, so there's actual science behind that. It's not just thinking differently. Your brain is physically changing. So, okay, if our brains are building these structures based on thoughts, what's like one practical thing someone could do to start identifying those limiting patterns to begin that rewiring?
Well, a really simple but effective technique is something called cognitive reframing. Basically, when you catch yourself having a negative thought, instead of just accepting it, pause. Ask yourself, okay, is there another way to look at this? Or what's the actual evidence for this thought? And against it, just doing that, just questioning it, can create a little disruption in that neural pathway. It opens the door for new ways of seeing things and eventually new habits of thought.
That makes sense. A small disruption. Okay, I like that. So if our internal world is key, what about all the noise from the outside? Coach Tiff's next principle tackles this head-on, this very modern problem. The need to eliminate distractions. And she's specific, right? She calls out Instagram, Snapchat, gossip blogs. Her warning is sharp. They're not your power source. They don't pay your bills. They don't build your legacy. Use technology, don't let it use you. That last bit. Use technology, don't let it use you. Man, that feels incredibly important right now.
Oh, it's critical. More than just relevant. There's research on cognitive load. It shows that even just having a notification pop up or a social media tab open, even if you don't look at it, can still reduce your focus, mess with your working memory. So connecting it to the bigger picture here, getting rid of distractions, it's really about being intentional. It's about protecting your most valuable stuff, your time and your mental energy. They're finite, right? It's about actively creating an environment that helps you reach your goals, instead of constantly fighting an environment that pulls you away.
Yeah, I feel that fight daily, definitely. So what's a realistic way to handle this, to have a more conscious relationship with tech? Because, going completely off the grid just isn't feasible for most people. Feels impossible, really.
Right, and it's probably not about total elimination for everyone. It's more about intention and boundaries. Maybe start by figuring out what your actual power sources are, the things that really move the needle on your goals, build your legacy, pay the bills, as she says. Then try scheduling specific blocks of time just for those things. And during that time, turn off all the notifications that aren't essential. Outside of those blocks, maybe think about tech-free zones, like no phones at the dinner table or in the bedroom, or even just specific times you allow yourself to check social media, rather than letting it be the default thing you do whenever there's a spare second. It's about being proactive, not just reacting to the dings and buzzes.
Proactive, not reactive. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Intentionality again. All right, now the fourth principle from Coach Tiff. This one can feel, pretty tough. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. She lays out the reality of growth. Growth ain't cute all the time. You're going to get told no. You're going to get your feelings hurt. You're going to stumble, but that's part of the grind.
Yeah.
And then grit is where the gold is. Wow. That really hits home, The idea that difficulty isn't something wrong. It's actually part of the process.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here is how this principle reframes discomfort, psychologically speaking. Setbacks, getting a no, feeling heard, falling down. She presents them not as failures you should avoid at all costs, but as just part of the grind.
Yeah.
An essential part. This links directly to the idea of a growth mindset, right? Seeing challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to learn and get stronger. That's why developing grit through these tough times is like finding gold. Because it's precisely through overcoming these things that we build our resilience, our adaptability. We literally forge new neural pathways that make us better equipped for the next challenge.
Seeing challenges as opportunities, that's a powerful shift. But okay, let's be real. Sometimes that discomfort feels like more than just discomfort. It feels overwhelming. It can lead to burnout. How does Coach Tiff suggest we tell the difference between productive discomfort, the stretching kind, and just pushing ourselves way too hard?
That's a great point. And Coach Tiff implies a balance. Grit is where the gold is, sure, but she's not advocating for needless suffering. Productive discomfort usually feels like a stretch. It's effortful, maybe a bit painful, but there's often a sense of purpose underneath it, or you feel like you're learning something. Burnout, on the other hand, that usually comes with feeling emotionally drained, cynical, like nothing you do matters, even if you're working incredibly hard. So the key is really self-awareness, paying attention to the signals your body and mind are sending, and knowing when to actually rest and recover. That's also part of climbing the stairs sustainably. It's not about never stopping. It's about stopping strategically, intentionally.
Okay, that's a really important clarification. Sustainable growth needs rest too. All right, finally, wrapping up these 5 powerful principles, Coach Tiff gives us this gem. Gratitude is your protection. And she frames it not just as a nice feeling, but as a strategic tool for your mind. She says, whenever that negativity creeps in, pause and count your blessings. And she gives these simple, profound examples. The fact that you woke up today, that you can see, walk, breathe, dream, that's abundance already. The power she claims for is huge. Gratitude will shift your energy faster than anything.
Yeah, and connecting this to the bigger picture again, gratitude really does function as a powerful mental and emotional strategy. And the neuroscience is increasingly backing this up. Practicing gratitude has actually been shown to positively affect brain regions linked to reward, to moral thinking. It can reduce stress hormones like cortisol, improve your mood. So it's a proactive way to keep perspective, build resilience, and just generate positive energy, especially when you're in the middle of that tough climb, facing those uncomfortable steps. It's not about pretending challenges don't exist. It's about arming yourself internally, shifting your focus deliberately towards what is working, even when other things aren't.
It really sounds like a muscle you can build, just like anything else. So how can we actually do that? How can we weave these gratitude moments into daily life, especially when things are tough, when we're feeling stressed or uncomfortable? Because that's often when it feels hardest to be grateful, right?
Definitely. One really effective method is the classic gratitude journal. Just taking like 2 minutes each day to jot down 3 things you're grateful for. Doesn't matter how small. Another technique is what you might call a gratitude pause. When you feel that frustration or negativity starting to build, just stop for maybe 60 seconds and consciously list 5 things you're grateful for right in that moment. Could be anything. The chair you're sitting on, the fact you can hear this, the coffee nearby. These small, consistent practices, they can actually start to rewire your brain to automatically look for the positive, even when things are difficult.
Wow, that's a really powerful set of tools to take away. Okay, so wrapping this all up for you, our listener, what does this mean? Coach Tiff's message, Take the Stairs, it's really this strong call to embrace that consistent, disciplined effort. It's a reminder that real, lasting success, it's not about dodging the hard parts. It's about meeting them head on, with clear mindset, with focus, with resilience, and with a grateful heart. Like Coach Tiff says, so this September, let's stop looking for the elevator. Let's commit to the stairs together, one step at a time, one level at a time until we reach the top. Think of it as this ongoing journey, one you're sharing with others and one you are absolutely capable of taking on, not just this month, but starting today, moving forward.
Right. And as you think about everything we've discussed in this deep dive, maybe chew on this thought. If success really does come one step at a time, like Coach Tiff argues, what's one single stair for you? One small, deliberate action, or maybe a mindset shift from one of these 5 principles.
Right.
What's one thing you could commit to taking today to start building the legacy you want?
Something to really think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope this gave you some solid food for thought as you navigate your own path, one intentional step at a time. Until next time, keep climbing.